Hello. So we just got a pretty big drop of information about Deceit 2, as well as a brand new trailer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. They just released this about an hour ago at the time of recording. And I'll put a link to it in the description in case y'all want to see that yourselves. But I'm gonna show it right here.
Wake up! What happened? You've been chosen. This time, I have a task for you. Both of you. Make them fear us. A realm of terror draws close. The in-between of our world and the horrors of the void. Give me your blood, and I will show you. The innocent will not understand, but our benefactors demand tribute. Tributes paid with paranoia.
Is lying.
Tributes of torment. Tributes of suffering. The ritual of deceit has begun. Trust no one.
Beck's infected.
So yeah, that was the new reveal trailer, which looked awesome. They did show off a couple of elements of the game. Like we've got Rachel and Hans starting out as infected. Rachel goes up and uses this implant thing to fill the altar with blood. I like that you can see the game master's face right here. Of course, we've got the classic calling out someone as infected and they're just getting shot in the back. That's classic Deceit for you. And they do show us the 3 new characters. This is Beck. We have Jack and Priya. This is also like basically the voting ritual. This is what it's gonna look like when you're voting someone out. And they show this little microphone system where it seems like Rachel's like making an announcement to everyone that Beck was infected. Honestly, a pretty great trailer, but that is not all of the new stuff that they released today. So they also released this blog post for Wishlisting Deceit 2. The wait is nearly over and the hype begins here. You can now wishlist Deceit 2 on Steam. So if you're excited for the game, I recommend going ahead and doing so. Deceit 2 also won't be just on PC, it'll also be on PlayStation and Xbox, and they're gonna share those links soon. So yeah, now you can wishlist it and also just see the Steam page for it, which I'm gonna show in a bit. They also say at the bottom here that they're gonna be sharing more in-depth details in more blog posts in the next couple of weeks. And they're gonna talk more about the new items, objectives, and combat. And I'm definitely gonna make videos on those when they come out. So make sure to watch out for those. Then, pretty exciting, they're gonna announce the launch date next month, with also a sneak peek at some gameplay. That is some pretty big news. We've known up to now that they want to release in 2023, but they haven't given us an exact date yet. So it looks like we'll be able to find that out in the next month. So yeah, if you're excited, add Deceit 2 to your wish list. It helps out the game a lot. Now I'm gonna get into the Steam page. So yeah, you can now see Deceit 2 on Steam. And if you're signed in, you can just click this, add it to your wish list. I'll put the link to the Steam page in the description as well. And they tell a lot about the game, as well as giving us new images. Talk about here a little bit of the lore behind the asylum, and talk about how it's a 6 to 9 player social deduction horror game where 2 are infected. So before, they did talk about it being 3 infected and 9 players. I believe they're moving towards 2 infected with 9 players, which might be subject to change considering they changed it from 3 to 2, but I'm not sure about that. It'll be interesting to see how they balance 2 against 7. They talk about the blood altars here, how they weaken the veil of reality until it breaks, and transports people to the in-between. Instead of drinking blood bags like in Deceit 1, it looks like the infected need to offer blood, and that'll bring people into the in-between, where the terrorists can transform and execute, it seems like. And yeah, as they say here, once the infected players summon the in-between, you need to make progress towards escaping, and 1 player must die for the ritual to be satisfied. Innocents have power in numbers, and with it being a 2v7, and people can trigger a banishing ritual by damaging them, that's basically how you vote people off. And with it being a social deduction game, you gotta study how people act, you need to make strategies, and other things like that so that you can succeed. They also give system requirements here. Kinda scared because this minimum is dangerously close to what I have. So it definitely seems that this might be a more intensive game than Deceit 1 is. Though I know Deceit 1 isn't optimized the best. So I do hope these people above minimum requirements are able to get consistent FPS. So yeah, I did want to zoom in on these pictures here. Here we see your player and Jack at this tannoy system, which seems like you would be able to do a message to people using this. Here we have the inspector, seemingly the inspection kit getting used on this person, also a camera, and you can see on the computer there's a pin required, so it doesn't seem like you're able to just use the inspection kit immediately. We have a pretty sick shot of Hans, unfortunately, getting unlucky there, I guess. So yeah, we have this big, a lot more menacing terror than Deceit 1, where they're all crouched and look more like a gremlin than something menacing. Then we have another picture of the blood altar. Again, I think these look sick. And the fact that the blood all trickles out and makes the Game Master's face. Then just another image, I think a concept art of the asylum. Though, along with all that, they did update their website. You can go to the bottom here, wishlist it on Steam. This will take you to the Steam page. Whenever they're ready to get the page out on PlayStation and Xbox, I'm sure these buttons will light up and you'll be able to go there. You can also still put your email here to get information. Something that I've been waiting on is for them to add these case files. So I'm going to go over these real quick. It is mostly information we've already seen on other blogs, but there is some new information. First up, we've got the ritual case file. This talks a little bit about the Game Master. So yeah, the ritual is powered by blood offerings from the infected. So it's a bit different, but has some similarities to drinking blood in Deceit 1. So we have the reality phase, which is like the daytime in Deceit 1. New information here about this implant, which hasn't been talked about before. Using the implant, you can use second sight to find souls captured in objects around the map. Free those souls to equip yourself for what's to come. So yeah, before they talked a little bit about doing objectives and getting souls for the items. But now using this implant thing, you can use some kind of sight ability. This probably is just a way for you to be able to find objectives and not just walk around aimlessly. So that's going to be nice. It also says you won't have endless pockets, so you probably are only limited to a few items. So make sure that you pick the right ones. Stay alert, be aware of your surroundings, and communicate with other players. Pretty standard for making sure you figure out who it is. And elimination, again, this is a banishing ritual where you vote other players out. So it is going to be like Deceit 1, where you can like shoot them or knock them down, and then you'll be able to vote. And then it shows the in-between phase. You'll be anonymous and only able to see and hear who is right next to you in the dark. You won't always know where players are, so you might not be able to tell which players are infected as they transform. It kind of seems like a mix between Old Deceit 1 and New Deceit 1, where in Old Deceit 1, everyone can talk across the map freely and also see who everyone is, so it was really easy to see who transformed, or to deduce who hasn't transformed so you can know who has. And the New Deceit 1, you can't hear anyone, you can't see anyone. They're all completely anonymous. So this is kind of a middle ground. And we know from before that they talked about having proximity chat, so you'll be able to hear who's next to you. So that'll be what's going on in the night. You won't be able to see people from far, but as they get closer, you'll be able to see them more clearly, as well as hear them more clearly. It also says here that terrors are impervious to physical damage, so you're going to make sure you want light items, survival instinct. There's going to be a sanity element, so you can protect your sanity by running from or removing light, the rift eyes that will appear. And traversing the map using opened portals will also drain your sanity, so make sure to use them wisely. Yeah, that's a big information dump for people who haven't played the alphas. There's some type of sanity that the players have in the in-between. The rift eyes that appear in the in-between might drain your sanity, as well as using portals, which are going to be a way of moving around the map in the in-between. Also here, you can slide away through cracks in the wall or vault out of a room that they have you cornered in. So yeah, running from the terrors using vaults and cracks in the walls seems a lot more nerve-wracking. And the in-between allows the infected to turn into their terror form, pretty similar to like transforming into Deceit 1. It also says other mysterious creatures also lurk in the corridors as the in-between surrounds you. Unspeakable horrors await. Don't know what that means? Seems like a bit of foreshadowing. I'm interested to see what else they have in store for the in-between. They also have a case file about the characters. These are all of them lined up. We've got Chang, Rachel, Alex, Nina, Hans, Priya, Beck, Lisa, and Jack. I have talked about them before in another blog post, and here's their information again. But at the bottom here, they talk about the terrors. So right now, there's only the experiment, the original terror in Deceit 1, but they plan on making more terrors as the game goes on, and not just ones that were in Deceit 1 as well. But yeah, the experiment, the Game Master's original creation, I believe is going to be the only terror on launch. They also have one here about maps. Collect the souls. This is going to be you doing objectives and getting items from completing those objectives. It seems like there's a way to get a key to escape instead of just finding out who all the infected are. That might be another win condition. There's also different points of interest, whether it's a chalkboard or a tannoy system. Points of interest give you the tools to play the game your way. So yeah, I guess these points of interest are going to be like things like the inspection kit room, or the room with the tannoy system. I also talk here about the chalkboard. Going to be something that people can write on in the game. Pretty interesting. Might be a good way of holding on to information. And interactability. Every map will have elements you can interact with, and like the cracks in the wall or vaults. And terrors can destroy weak walls to open up new paths to capture innocents. It seems very fun. Then they talk about the asylum, which is the map that they have. I believe this is going to be the map on release, but there's definitely going to be a lot more maps as time goes on. Then what I'm most excited about from these case files, the roles section. Of course we know about the infected and the innocent, exchanging souls, giving them to the peddler for items, working together to get the escape key, and the infected offering blood, trying to deceive and manipulate, and execute people. But this section has me most excited. Extra roles. That's something that's never been in Deceit before. And they only have one here, but it seems like this is going to be something that's going to get more added over time. They show here the healer. The healer can choose one person before each visit to the in-between to save if they're the one executed by terror. If you ever played Mafia, Werewolf, Town of Salem, those type of games, they're all basically the same game in different formats. That's basically where Deceit got its inspiration from. And it is very cool to see a doctor or a healing role get implemented in Deceit too. It gives me hope that they're going to add a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool roles in Deceit 2. And lastly, in the case files here, they talk about items in the peddler's shop. We've talked about this before. You get the souls from the objectives, and then you can trade them in for different items, whichever one you want. They talk about some pretty interesting stuff here. Again, your main goal is to determine who's infected, and the peddler offers some items that include a clipboard to cross-reference information with others and determine who's infected. So this is going to be something you pick up and you have a little bit of information on it, and you can talk about it with other people, see what information they have. Tracker, that's in Deceit 1. You'll be able to see where people are that you put a tracker on. A pin, which you can collaborate with others to unlock an inspection machine. But it seems like multiple people will need to help out with that and not just one. A CCTV tablet to keep an eye out for suspicious behavior. So yeah, it seems like there's going to be cameras around the map, which is interesting. And a blood alarm, which alerts you if an infected tries to offer their blood near it. There's also utility items, which is insane. An invisibility cloak to hide yourself. The mask, which allows you to appear as any other character. A return pad, which we can teleport back to. A hammer to repair broken cracks. And a smoke grenade to create a large volume of smoke. Those are things that you probably never expected to be in Deceit. Those seem so fun to work with. So I'm very excited to see what they do with that. There's also some combat items. Pistol, classic, so it seems like you're not going to spawn with a pistol. Bandages to heal damage. A torch to fend off terrors. Sanity serum to keep you on your toes while in the in-between. I assume that's going to be something like if you're too low on sanity, you're going to want to use the serum. And knuckle dusters if things get a bit up close and personal. So in Deceit 1 we spawn with a pistol and a knife. I assume knuckle dusters are going to be like Deceit 2's version of a knife that you buy. It also seems like you're going to be punching people, which is awesome. They've also got the escape key here. If you collect all the souls around the map for the peddler, they will reward you with a key to the exit. But yeah, that's just about it for the information we've been given today. They should be making more blog posts in the next few weeks, and I'm definitely going to make videos on those, so keep an eye out. And thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it.